Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, what's up? My name is vianney.strick. Thank you so much for being here. As you can see by the title, today I'm delivering my promise. So we're going to be doing the part 2 of the best and worst drugstore powder blushes. If you guys are new here, I do have a whole playlist with so many different videos of the best and worst of every category of makeup, so make sure to check that out. But today we're going to be doing part 2, so make sure you guys go watch part 1 if you guys want to see more content like this. So I hope that this is helpful for you guys. I also hope that you love the video. And if you do love the video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join my squad. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's get to it. As usual, I do have a lot of products to talk to you guys about, so I'm gonna try not to take too much time with each and just give you the nitty-gritty of what you guys need to know. Let me know if you guys want me to do this video as well for powder bronzers. I've only done it for cream bronzers. So why don't we start off with, I believe this is probably one of the most affordable in the bunch. I think it is the most affordable. So let's start out with Essence. So this is literally called the blush from Essence. If you're wondering, this is a shade 40 Beloved. So this is the shade that I have. Essence also does have mosaic blushes that are shimmery. I don't have those, so I couldn't really tell you, but I could also do a part 3 if you guys are interested. This formula is described on the website as a silky smooth texture with a natural finish, which I do agree. This is one of those formulas that is a matte shade, but it is not like powdery, it is silky, and that's what gives it that like natural finish. Because it's not chalky, it does give the tiniest amount of luminosity in the most like subtle way. What I like about this is that it's honestly just the perfect amount of pigment. It is going to be buildable, but it also can be blended out if you need to. What I like about it too is it's also very affordable. On the Essence websites, they do have 5 different shades. I will say, looking at the website, I am not sure how these would work for super deep skin tones. There are 2 shades in there that I think might work for medium to deep, but if you have very rich deep skin tone, I don't know how these would work out. They are a good amount of pigment, but they might look a little ashy on you. One thing I will say is that this actually doesn't have any alcohol. It also doesn't have fragrance, parabens, or oil, and it is cruelty free. So this is, I think, a really great option, again, from medium to lighter skin tones, and also if you're on a budget and if you are looking for just a blush that has a natural finish. Moving on to one that's a little bit more of a classic one. I'm sure you guys have seen this for a long time. So these are the Maybelline Fit Me blushes. I have to say, I do love the Fit Me line, but I don't know, I'm not 100% sold on these blushes, but I'll let you know a little bit about it to see if it's something that would work out for you. So if you guys are wondering, I do have the shade Rose. I just want to show you guys that to swatch, I am digging in pretty heavily to get a good swatch, if you know what I mean. So this is the shade Rose. It actually is a matte finish with some sparkles in it, but it's not like a shimmery blush, if that makes sense. So on the Maybelline website, this is going to be $6.49, and I will say they do have a couple options. They do have 10 different shades. I will say most of them look pretty similar, but they do have 4 to 5 shades that I think would actually work for deeper skin tones. Maybe. And the reason why I say maybe is because this is a very natural looking blush. It doesn't have that much pigment. This is definitely going to be very buildable, which that's why I'm saying maybe on darker skin tones, because even though they do have darker shades, I don't know if the pigment is going to show up on your skin. If you're the kind of person that likes just the tiniest amount of flush of a blush, then I think this might work for you. Because I get it, there are some blushes that you're almost like afraid to use. So I think if you just like more natural blushes, or if you just have extremely like fair skin and you just want to find something that doesn't overpower, these might be really good. I'm not obsessed with much of it, to be honest, because the formula to me just seems a little bit on the chalky side. It's also not as pigmented as I would like it. So if you don't mind a drier formula and you just want a light wash of color, you might like this. But if you love blush as much as I do and you like to pack it on, I don't think this would be good to build up because it is so powdery. I think it might look a little cakey. It's literally described as a blendable, natural, yet noticeable blush. So again, very natural. So do what you want with that information. I don't really reach for this very much. I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite. Moving on to a very fun and exciting one that I love talking about because I feel like not a lot of people talk about this brand in general. This is the Undone Beauty, and it's actually called the Sunset Bronzer, but it is a 4-in-1 face palette. This is the shade 551. and this is what it looks like. Sorry if it's getting washed out. I will give you guys some swatches, but as you can see, it is almost the size of my head. The packaging is really, really nice, and they do sell it in store at Ulta now on the drugstore section. So this is actually $12. It has almost 5 stars actually, and it is described as a 4-in-1 palette, 2 matte shades, 2 non-sparkly shimmer shades. And the cool thing about these palettes is that you can use it for so many reasons. Obviously today I'm talking about a blush, so you could use this as a blush, a matte blush, or also a shimmery blush, or also a blush topper. Of course, you can also use it on the eyes as highlight, as anything like that. Something that I love about the matte shades in these palettes is that they're like very silky, almost creamy matte powder shades. They are not going to be chalky whatsoever, and they look stunning. Here are the swatches. Again, I'm so sorry if like my light is kind of washing them out. I already have blush on, but I just kind of want to show you guys like how you can kind of play with it. And I'm going to grab a little bit of the shimmer and a little bit of the matte and just put it on top of the cheek, and it's going to give you such a beautiful radiant blush. Anyways, I'll stop talking about this, but all I will say is that this formula is amazing. All the formulas are beautiful. It's very versatile. It's only $12, which you do get a lot of product for. Great for traveling, great for mixing and matching, and I think it's very underrated. I love this. Let's talk about a more popular blush. I really hope I didn't break that. It's alive! So this is going to be the e.l.f. Primer-Infused Blush. This is only $7, and I have the shade Always Rosy. So this is what the shade looks like. It's what that looks like. So it's definitely like a very light, like pinky mauve shade. So this is going to be described as a long wear powder blush infused with primer for seamless blending, incredible staying power. It is medium coverage with a matte finish. So interesting, because on the website I only see 4 shades, but it is described as available in 7 shades. So I will look more into that. When you touch this, it is one of the most satisfying powder blushes to touch. It truly feels like so buttery, so silky, and it applies so well. It builds so beautiful, it blends so beautiful, it does last for a long time. The only thing that I wish is that they just had more shades and darker shades, because all these shades will look absolutely stunning on lighter to medium skin tones. I love darker blush, and so I have yet to find a darker blush that from this line that I would really enjoy. So that's the only drawback. I will say the formula, the price, the longevity, the texture, everything about it, 10 out of 10. I just wish they offered more of a shade range. But other than that, if you guys can find your shade in this, it's stunning. Let's move on to a highly requested addition to this video by you guys, and it is this. This is the Juvia's Place Blushed Rouge, and I have volume 4. This is like a blush palette because it does have 2, and it does also have a mirror. So this is the shades that I have. Before I added that shimmer blush, it's actually the blush that I was wearing. So these are described as a buildable powder blush that sets into a soft powdery formula in complementary hues. They do have 6 different palettes, which means they have 12 different shades. But the shades that they do pick kind of correspond. I like it because they actually have a really good shade range. What I like about this one in particular, this is actually the only shade that I've tried, but I've been loving it because you guys know I love a mid-tone blush. So I've actually been using this shade and kind of applying it closer to here. And I grab a bigger brush and grab this shade and put it on the cheeks. What's interesting is that this looks stunning after like a minute. I remember the first time I tried this product, I didn't love it because I was like, oh, this shade is just not working for me. Give it a minute and it literally melts onto the skin. I'm sorry I applied the other blush on top, but again, it is the one that I'm wearing today, and it just melts onto the skin. It's the perfect amount of pigment. I will say it's a little bit more on the more pigmented side, so if you don't like too much, definitely go in with a light hand, but it blends beautifully. It melts onto the skin. It is long wearing. They have great shades. $16. I personally believe that that's a really good deal because you do get 2 blushes that are both a really good size, and you get a mirror. It's like everything that you need. Really, really nice. So I don't think you'll regret it. Okay, so moving on, let's go to another throwback that has kind of been on the shelves for a very long time. So this is the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Blush. I have the shade C78. Spiced Plum. Okay, I guess it's giving off a little bit of a berry tone, but this is what it looks like. So on the L'Oreal Paris website, this is going to be $11.99, and it is described as a natural flush of color, soft powder texture, goes on smooth. The True Match blush flawlessly complements your skin tone and undertone, leaving you with a natural flush of color. I like it. I'm not obsessed with it, but I like the concept of it. So the blush is fine. It's a nice blush. The formula is pretty. It is a $12 blush though, and again, there's so many other things that you could get for that money or like closer to it. And so I don't love the price because I don't think it's that like amazing. I think it's just a good blush. What I do like about it though is that they give you like the C, the N, and the W, which those are like the undertones of cool, warm, and neutral. I know for some of us makeup lovers, it might be easy to like pick out a shade that you know is gonna look good, that you know you're gonna love, but for some people it's actually really hard to not only know what their undertone is, but actually shop for their undertone if that's something they want to do. So once you find your true match like foundation shade, you can kind of go about those numbers and those undertones to start shopping for the other products. So they do have a lot of different shades, and they do have like cool tone, neutral, warm tone. So I do like the concept, and I think it'll make shopping easier for those of you that just need more help in that department. But I will say, I think you can get like better blushes for cheaper. I think $12 is kind of pushing it for a drugstore blush that isn't like blowing me away, but I do think it's a good formula. Okay, and lastly on this video, let's talk about another single blush. This is gonna be from Makeup Revolution. So this is the Makeup Revolution Blusher Reloaded. I have the shade Rose Kiss, and it is a very, very pinky shade. What's new? And this is what it looks like. Definitely pink and very bright. So this is only $7 at the Revolution Beauty website, and it is described as a sheer velvet powder. They do have 12 different shades, and I like it. I think that if you're really into a very matte blush, like you don't want any type of shimmer, this is why they are described as a sheer velvet. But the reason why it's sheer velvet is because it's not gonna be that chalky, matte, thick kind of powder. These are actually pressed a little bit harder, and so once you rub your finger on it, you do get a very like thin layer, but as you can see, it is very pigmented. So if you're into a very pigmented, very matte, velvety type, no shimmer at all, but no chalkiness, nothing like that, very blendable, I like this. It's only $7. They do have 12 different shades, and I think they're really, really pretty. I don't even know if I had like a true matte blush in this video other than this one. Actually, the Juvia's Place was matte, but again, this is more of like a velvety matte finish. It's almost like a little blurring, like it truly is like a sheer velvet. So if you're into that, I think you're gonna like it. I think the price is good, and they do have 12 different shades, and it's drugstore. Alrighty guys, so like every single video in this category, let's do a quick little roundup. If you're looking for the most bang for your buck, you just want a really nice natural finish blush that won't break the bank, has really pretty shades, and it's buildable, definitely get the Essence one. I don't think anyone will dislike this blush. So if you guys can find your shade, I think you're gonna like it. If you are afraid of blush and you really just want to maybe start trying to get into blush, or you just really don't like blush but you just want the slightest pinch of a sheer amount of color, definitely try the Fit Me one. Remember, if you do want to build it, I probably wouldn't get this one because it will get a little chalky and cakey, but if you just want something very natural, almost undetectable, try this one. If you want a very affordable, very matte, but yet very creamy blush that will stay in place and last for a very long time, get the e.l.f. one. If you can find your shade, definitely try these. They're so beautiful, and they really do last a very long time, and they're fairly priced. If you're looking for more of a blush and highlighter palette so that you can mix and match, you can make shimmery blushes or matte blushes, or you just want a really pretty highlight as well, try the Undone Beauty one. The formulas in these are so stunning. If you are the kind of girl that just needs a blush palette with just 2 shades and a mirror and you're good to go, try this one. Again, matte shades, very pigmented, melt into the skin very beautifully. You really just have everything you need in this as far as blush goes, and the formula is just fantastic. If you have trouble with your undertones, or you just want an easier way to know what will go with your undertone, then definitely try the True Match line. They really do make it easy for you to kind of figure that out. Remember though, you don't have to wear a blush that only says your undertone. I mean, I am a warm undertone, but I wear a bunch of cool pink blushes. It really just depends on what you like. But if you need help in what you think might go together more, then try this line and I think it'll help you out. And then if you're just into a very, very matte velvety cheek, but you don't want to cake it on, you want just like a sheer velvet, beautiful, that is not going to like emphasize any texture, you just want to be a matte type of gal, then try this one. And again, only $7, so you can't beat that. Alrighty guys, so that is the end of this video. That is the end of part 2. I hope that you guys really enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions or if you guys want me to talk about any other blushes. Again, I can always do a part 3. There are so many videos in the playlist that are still very useful, but I kind of want to do an update because there are so many new products that I love. So let me know which ones you guys are more interested in and I'll start adding more to this playlist because I feel like it's been really helpful for you guys, so I can keep adding onto it more frequently if that's what you're into. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!